Hello folks, and welcome back to Rome Total War. I am Conostip, and this is going to be part 1 of my Imperial campaign where I'm playing as Britannia. So without further ado, let's just jump into single player and we can go into my Imperial campaign. I will be playing on very hard difficulty. Now, I want to address this really quickly. It's my understanding that a lot of folks think that very hard difficulty, and I know the menu music gets pretty loud right here, so I'm trying to not spend too much time in the menu, but actually, with that in mind, let me just talk about this when I get into the campaign. Alright, so no battle time limit is unchecked, because I like to have a battle time limit. Again, I can talk more about that when I get into the campaign itself, when we have it's a bit more quieter, and I will not be playing a short campaign. No arcade-style battles, and yeah, manage all settlements, obviously. So the Britons, 270 BC. So the Britons are very similar to the Gauls. They come from the same robust Celtic stock, after all, and many tribes can be found in northern Gaul and in Britannia. The sea is no barrier. The Britons have their own sophisticated culture within which trade and kingship flourish, and they have well-organized towns, a small but growing merchant class, and age-old trading links to the world. The Phoenicians, for example, came to these islands for tin and lead. They also have a proud tradition as warriors. Britons are fierce fighters and present a terrifying appearance to their foes. They dye themselves blue with woad, think nothing of danger, and often lime their hair into fantastical spikes, making them appear truly horrific. Perhaps a later Roman description of Britons as Britanniculi, wretched little Britons, is only partly contemptuous. It might equally be intended to make them less terrible. For the Britons can be terrible. Their spirits are rarely broken by defeat or enslavement. They plot revenge and then take it as brutally as possible. Their druidic religion can be savage to outsiders, demanding human sacrifice as a matter of course. Their traditional method of warfare, involving fighting from light, highly maneuverable chariots, can also put fear into many enemies. The noise alone is enough to scare many into flight. All in all, from their island home, the Britons have much to feel confident about. They are vibrant people with a tradition of bravery in warfare and gods who will aid and protect them. Protected by the moat of the sea from invasion, they can gaze out towards the mainland and plan their conquests. Yes, so Britannia has fanatical barbarian infantry and plus swift charioteers. So let's dive on into it. Yeah, very hard difficulty to make sure that's all checked. That's looking good.
Before my grandfather's grandfather was born, this was our land. These are good places. Our gods live here, in the trees and rivers. They watch over us. We are happy. We hunt. We love. We have families, homes, a good life. But sometimes we must fight. The Romans disturb the gods. They burn the forests. They take what is ours, wives, children, land. And the Romans talk of how they will help us and protect us. They put us to sleep with golden promises. When we wake, all we had is gone, stolen. They take our sons and turn them into little Romans. Ha! So we fight to keep what is ours. What must stay ours. There can be no peace. No peace with Romans, men of stone and iron and lies. There can be only war.
And I love how cinematic these videos are. They're fantastically well done. Although, it's a little bit of a tease there when we see the cavalry, and I understand that the barbarian cinematics are just universal for all the barbarian factions, but they're showing us cavalry models, and we're like, the Britons don't get cavalry. Oh, it's such a shame. It is such a shame. But anyway, so now that it's a bit quieter in regard to the music, I can introduce my channel to new people who are just finding my channel right now. And I can also welcome back to all the longtime viewers. Now, I finally finished up my Julia and my Egypt campaigns for this game, which are my first 2 campaigns that I had ever played for this game. And those campaigns took a very long time, so I mentioned at the end of my Egypt campaign that if I could shake the hands of everyone who watched that entire campaign, I would really appreciate, that would be wonderful, just to say thank you all. And it's nice having you all back as well. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I just wanted to say before I, potentially waste any more of your time, I do slow playthroughs for these games, and I do like to explain my reasoning for things. I like to talk about the units and the differences in the units, and I like to talk about the game mechanics in some sense as if you yourself might be a new player, just in case there are new players. I know this is an old game, but sometimes people do go to YouTube to try to learn about old games. I'm one of them. I'm relatively new to this game, even though I've been playing it for, a year and a half now, something like that. I still consider myself, new compared to, a lot of you folks who haven't played this for a long time. So I do like to explain these mechanics in detail, and in some ways, for older players, you might also learn things as well, because there are long-held beliefs about this game that now that I've been doing a bit of digging, I've been able to find certain things that are not true, which are believed to be true. Just for an example, like the shield value on units is believed to be on the shield arm of the unit models. That makes sense. That's logical, right? So you're going to be getting an extra block chance on the right side of a unit model because that's the side that they hold their shields. Well, it turns out that that was coded incorrectly, and the shield value is actually being modeled on the left side instead of the right side. So it's things like that I like to share because it's kind of interesting, and there's more too. Now, I have made separate videos about certain things in a playlist that's titled Rome Total War Mechanics, I believe. So you can just check that out. You don't need to watch my long-form content to get the juicy bits if that's all you are here for. Okay, so anything else about me? Yeah, I guess, sure. I can talk also about the fact that, so this channel's purpose is to chronicle my journey through the Total War franchise. So by doing that, I'm celebrating the 20th anniversary of each of the games in succession. And then I don't just play like 1 or 2 playthroughs. I try my best to do a really deep dive into each game in succession and essentially play it for that game's quote-unquote game life, which I call, the time until the next game comes out. So the next 20th anniversary of the next game, right? So I'm probably have, like another, 7 more months left of really going hard into Rome Total War before I switch on over to Medieval 2, which is exciting. But for now, I'm excited to get back into another campaign because my last 2 campaigns, Julia and Egypt, man, those campaigns took a long time. They took a very long time, and in a lot of ways that was self-inflicted. I do play a slower playstyle, but also keep in mind that I came to this game from Shogun 1 and Medieval 1, so this was my first Total War in the 3D map, right? So there's a lot for me to learn in regards to how all of this works. There's a lot of things that you might not think of if you've been playing this game forever. Just like, I don't know, certain, like, there's a lot of like zone of control things and movement things and terrain things and ship rules when boarding and, offloading and trying to understand exactly how your units and agents are going to interact with the world, which again, would be very obvious to anyone who's a Total War veteran, but I'm kind of in a weird place where I've been playing Total War for, 6 years now? Yeah, 6 years. But a lot of that was on the, the Risk style 2D maps of Medieval 1 and Shogun 1, so it's a little bit different. So I'm still learning kind of like this style, and I definitely had a lot of economic inefficiencies with those other 2 playthroughs. I do tend towards I like playing a little bit slower just because I understand that blitzing is the meta. I get it. I just think that blitzing is pretty boring. Go ahead and play the game whichever way that you want to play it. I'm not judging how other people play the games, but there is a lot of people on YouTube that play this game with a blitzing style, and I understand why people do that. It's faster. I get it. And it doesn't give the AI time to build up, which makes it easier to fight battles. I get it. But also, man, come on. Like, I want to fight some battles and actually like have some competition, a little bit of challenge, I suppose. Now, with that being said, I probably was a bit too slow in my previous 2 campaigns, so I'm going to be making an effort in this campaign to speed things up a bit. And I think that one of the issues that I had in those 2 campaigns was that I followed I would say my early strategy of Shogun 1 and Medieval 1 a bit too closely, which is that I would secure my nearby localized territory and then build up and then expand out. And by that, I in those 2 games, that would be like, oh, I don't know, somewhere between like 6 and 10 territories in Shogun 1 and Medieval 1, where you can kind of hunker down for a bit before expanding out. And when you kind of follow that same, like for instance, when I was playing as the Julii, and I had my 2 starting provinces, and then the 3rd one, and then 4, and then 5, which are the 2 that are right here, and then like 6, and then 7. And I was like, okay, like I can, kind of hunker down. And then I got kind of bogged down because I was getting hit from multiple sides, and it was hard to kind of break out from that area. So that's something that I think going into this campaign, I'm going to try to play a bit faster in regards to taking more territories in the early push before hunkering down, if that ever happens, just because, the AI will kind of dogpile you and it'll just kind of make it more of a slog. And, in a sense, I do want the AI to challenge me with some late game armies. I do want to face their late game units, but I also, don't want to spend, I think I played those campaigns for 15 months, which is a very long time. That was such a long time. So if I can avoid that, I don't want this campaign to go on for 15 months. That's for gosh darn sure, okay? So with that being said, one other thing that I just wanted to say that someone's going to ask, so I have to say it. I am playing with the default unit scale. Now, there's some discussion about this. Some people don't think, they think it doesn't look very, epic on the battlefields. Here's my thing, and this is something that I can't prove because I don't have enough experience in game, but it's my thinking that because this is population mechanic in game, and since your tech levels is directly tied to your population, meaning that, again, for new players, you can't tech up to higher levels of your settlement until you have a certain population. So if I go here to Samar Briva, this is a small tier 1 town. I have 1,600 people. I need 2,000 to be able to tech up to a large town. And that's going to open up more training opportunities for different types of units and more economic buildings as well. So it's very important to grow your settlements, right? However, every time you train a unit, it's going to detract that amount of people. Okay, so for 120 units of peasants, or for 100, warband have 120 men as well, that's going to take 120 men from your population, and therefore, by training soldiers, it's going to make it slower to grow your settlements. Now, playing as a barbarian faction, my tier 1 units, not counting peasants, but my tier 1 units, which are the barbarians, are 120 units. That extra person is a captain unit, so 120 people. So my thinking is that I think by playing on the huge scale, unit scale, whatever it's called, it's like 240 people for these units, and then 160 people for the normal units. So it's just going to sink the population a lot faster and make it so that those other factions really can't get out of the dirt. They're just really stuck. And that probably doesn't affect the Romans at all, but the Romans tier 1 unit as an 80-man unit. It's the barbarians that have the 120-man tier 1 units. And I don't know if anyone else does. Does the Macedonians, is their tier 1 the levy pikes? Because in that case, it would be 120 because pikes have a large unit size. It might just be the barbarians that suffer from that. But, as we know, the barbarians do kind of struggle in this game. So that might have something to do with it. I don't know. Now, clearly, I'm playing as a barbarian faction in this case. So, it's going to kind of help me out, I guess. But still, that's the idea there. Also, you can also say that, playing on those huge unit scales makes fighting siege battles very shitty. It just sucks because they weren't designed for that scale of unit, so it can be very difficult to control your units in the tight, narrow city streets. So that's my thinking with that. I'm curious, just because I don't have the, enormous amount of time in game. I have not quite 600 hours in game, but still, most of that was played on this unit scale. So if you have more experience on that huge unit scale, and you can tell me, and I have had folks say that, they faced large armies in the late game, but then I'll ask, well, is that just from the Romans, or is that, from other factions? Have you seen other factions able to field, larger armies? And of course, a part of this has to do with my slower playstyle as well. That was a part of it. So it's hard to kind of separate those two things, right? So anyway, we can have a discussion about that. I'm curious to hear your experiences with this. And I think that the remastered tried to solve this by kind of implementing kind of a blanket amount of people that was taken from the population, whether it wasn't the exact number, but it's just the same for like every unit, no matter how big the unit was, I think is how that mechanic worked. And I wonder how that actually worked out for folks anyway. So for the Britons and this is my first time playing a barbarian faction. Here we are. And so the Britons have a really cool unit roster. It's very limited, and I do enjoy limited unit rosters. I think they can. I think that honestly, restriction can be a good thing because it kind of forces you to play outside of your comfort zone, and not having any cavalry is definitely uncomfortable because chariots, although they are powerful, they're very bad at running down other units. So yeah, it might be nice to hire some mercenary cav if that is available, but the Britons have some tools, right now it's basically just the chariots. I got some light chariots. My generals are in chariots as well, which we can see right here. Yes, barbarian warlord chariot unit. Now this is tricky because generals typically for other factions, they all have like multiple hit points. Do they have that here? Yes, they do. But I think that there's like an issue. Chariots just like collapse instantly if they hit a spear or a pike. And, there's something going on. There's something with chariots where they just die. They're very, very fragile. Is what I'm trying to say. And that includes your generals and your characters, right? So you can lose your characters if you're not careful with them. Whereas with, the other heavy cav units for other factions, you have to be still somewhat careful with them, but to some degree, you can use them in battle. For these guys, it's kind of touch and go. Like it's blunt clenching the whole way. You're like, don't die. So yeah, it's going to be a bit scary, and I'm going to be doing something to try to make sure that my characters have the best chance of having as many keys as possible. And that's something that I can talk about maybe now, maybe later. Later. So for now, what are we looking at here? So Londinium is going to be my only large town. My other 3 towns are small towns here in Samora Briva, Abericum, and Deva. And then these 2 don't even have walls. So I'm going to be building that first off. Building walls just doesn't feel good, but having brigands pop up and then just kind of walk into your settlement without even a fight also sucks. So I will be building walls. Also, so I got some people here. This is the faction leader, 4 stars at Baravindos, 50 years old, so he's getting up there. And yeah, so command stars and influence. Again, for those of you who are new, and this is something that I have looked up in the game code, I did make a video about this. So influence and command both worked together to provide a buff on the battlefield for your troops. It's not just one or the other. There's an equation, and again, I looked it up, but I don't remember it. But it's in that video that I made, so check out that video if you want to see. But there's an equation here where command stars and influence together combined to determine how large your general's influence, what's the word? Not barrier, but there's a word for it. What window? Gosh. See, it's only when I'm recording things when I forget words, but I'll remember the word, but the size, the radius, there you go. Hey, the radius of the command is going to be determined by this equation that's influence and command. And then in addition to that, the level of attack and defense boost is also going to be determined by this equation that, takes influence and command into effect. So the generals themselves using with the command stars and influence will not be influencing morale, just attack and defense. Morale is going to be coming from other things. Like, do we have any morale stuff here? I'm not seeing anything, but I'm sure we'll find something. But morale comes from traits and retinue, not from command stars and influence. Influence also determines the size of the bodyguard unit. So the faction leader is always going to have the largest bodyguard. The faction heir is going to have the second largest. He has 52 men in his. And then after that, it gets a bit smaller. I think we have 36 for him. And then it's going to be you out here. And Kinfarer has 40. So, and he has 4 influence. And you have 1 influence. So, yeah, that makes sense. So that, yeah, influence determines that. And the cherry on top is that influence also does determine the population loyalty of the settlement if the character is a general. So that's one of the factors in play. You see it right there. It's giving 5% due to his 1 influence point. And the rest of it's coming from garrison. So there you go. And management's going to be, that's how much money the settlement makes. So again, we're seeing it right here. We're getting 16 money per turn from his 1 management. So pretty sweet stuff, right? So for the first turn, I like to... Let's see here. I think... So I want to be attacking the Gauls' capital of Alesia. It's like right here. And that's going to be my first play, is going right after that as fast as possible. In fact, I think I want to send my diplomat down there because I want to talk to them first. I want to try to get some map information and maybe some money from them as first before I attack them. Because that's the gentlemanly thing to do. And then I also think I want to just plop my faction leader inside of some more Breva. No, my faction heir, sorry. Just because he does have some management, which is going to be increasing the amount of money that we make. And then anything else? Let's see here. No, it's just the 2 points of management. So it's not going to be increasing it by much, but it will be a little bit. And then, now we don't need to leave anyone inside of Londinium. We can just plop all these people on the boats and then move them on over.
Impossible. Set sail. All ashore. Orders.
And then the boats just come back. The spy can't quite reach the boats in the first turn, so we'll come pick them up in the next turn. Londinium can go right away to training a unit of peasants. And this unit of peasants is actually... Do we have any peasants down here? We do. So they're going to be left here in some more Breva. So I don't like training units in anything that's not a large town. Because I want... If it's a small town, a tier 1 town, basically to me, that's useless real estate until it like grows into a large town. It just seems counterintuitive, especially when it's a 120-man unit. Like that really does slow down the growth. So what I would rather do is train my peasants in Londinium and then bring them to other places to garrison. So in Abericum, luckily there's already a peasant here, so I can just leave that there. And then Deva has a peasant as well, but these people are going to be going out to Ireland to conquer this rebel settlement out here. And I'm going to be taking this peasant with me. And so therefore this peasant that I'm training here is going to come cover down here in Deva, and then I'll train up another peasant just to garrison Londinium. Again, just to make sure that no rebels can just walk into the settlement. That's all that I'm really going for here. So I won't be training anything somewhere Breva because this is just a tier 1 small town. So I don't want to do that. But what do I want to do? So I think Londinium... Yeah, I should just get roads. Roads going in Londinium because that's going to increase the rate at which people can move across the settlement, or the province, should I say. And tier 1 roads, unfortunately, do not increase trade income at all. And barbarians can't even build tier 2 roads. And tier 2 is where you can start making money. So, barbarian economy sucks so much. I hate it. See, you know, it's funny. Like I just said, I don't care at all about the limited unit roster for the barbarian factions. I think it's kind of fun and it makes you play, well, like I said, kind of out of your comfort zone. But having a limited building roster, oh god, I hate it so much. Look at this shit. I hate that I can't build any walls that are past a, fucking stockade. We get a tier 3. That's all. We don't get a 5 or 4 or 5. We just get tier 3. And you know, it's like, all right, I don't really care too much about the unit buildings. Like I said, trader, like that's all we get. Smiths, okay, we get to increase our weapon strength by a little bit. Ports, we get to get 2 ports. Those are only muddy buildings. It's 2 ports and 3 traders. That's it. That's all we get. Or 2 farms. Yeah, we get 2 farms. Roads don't increase trade at all. And taverns that increase public order due to happiness. But it's my understanding that these give bad, like drunken traits to the characters. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of testing on this because this is one of those areas where I've come to be a little bit skeptical of folks who just say outright to not build certain buildings. Mainly, so like in my experience, you know, people that I come across will say to not build I think they're the temples of fun, I think, that are available to the Julii and Egypt. But Egypt has Osiris. It's not Osiris. Is it Osiris? I know for Egypt it's Bacchus, and Egypt might be Osiris. I'm getting my gods mixed up. But those are the ones that give like some pretty scary traits for people because they're like, oh no, they make them, I don't know, like drunk or something, and they give bad traits. But if I looked at there's videos made about this that track the traits that certain temples give, and there's good ones as well. Like you can get the comedian from Bacchus, and the comedian gives +1 morale. And that's a retinue that you can pass on to other generals, which is pretty damn good. And I think you can get, like casual drinker, I think is also like +1 something, command or morale, something like that. And I think the key is to not stick around too long in those settlements or else that trait will get worse. But I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical when people just say like, don't ever build that building and it sucks and you get bad traits. I'm like, I don't know. Did you really look at that, or did you just have something? Because I think that, you know, when you think about game design, like there's good and bad for everything, right? And that's what I saw, for instance, with the Julii temple. That's the main one that everyone gets, Jupiter. Jupiter, you know, has some really good stuff, like it gives command stars and it I don't know, increases law maybe, I don't know. But that also has like bad ones for like you being too stern. It makes your characters too much of he's like a stick up his ass, you know? It's like people don't really like him. There are traits like that kind of balance that out. So I just think that, you know, maybe there's more to discover here other than just, you know, bars are bad. Like, I don't know. I've been to a bar or two, and you know, they're not all bad. So you know, let's maybe do this, and we'll do this maybe later. Not in the early game. I'm just talking about it right now. Okay. And then for the temples, I don't know if I can, later. I'll talk about that later. Sure. Yeah. So some more Breva. Do I want to build anything here? Yeah, roads, I suppose. I want some roads. So we're getting that there. We're getting that here. And then Abarcum and Deva are just going to get walls. It sucks to spend some time doing that, but that's what we're going to have to do. Now, luckily, so you have oh, it's not you. Okay, I thought you were someone else. How do I say this? Pasutagus? Pasutagus. Okay. It's easier than Egyptian, okay? I'm never going to complain about saying complicated names ever again after that Egyptian playthrough. I think I can speak Egyptian now after 15 months of playing that. I think I'm there. So let's put in a wooden palisade. Okay, and then what I'm thinking is, since you have the lively trait, which is going to give us a 5% discount on construction costs, as in addition to 10% bonus on movement points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you back to Deva, just to get myself a little bit of discount on this wooden palisade. It takes 20 denarii off. Ooh, saving some big bucks there. So that's what we're going to do. And then, do I want to move these guys now or later? You do have 1 management, so we are going to be moving these forces out to come out here to hang out here in Ireland. But you know what? I mean, a Barkham's making some big bucks off of you. You know, making an extra 16 denarii per turn. Hot damn, dude! I don't know if I want to waste that. So I'll bring these guys over. And then you can just kind of hang out here in Abericum. and that's fine. So yeah, we're not going to trade. We're not going to train anything there. We're not going to train anything there. We got the peasants going, and then in all of my small towns, I'm going to be lowering the taxes. Again, for those of you who are new, so lowering taxes obviously decreases the money that you make. So like income minus 14 down to minus 123, which sucks, but check out this population growth. It used to be plus 3.5, and now it's going to be plus 4%. And we're already at 1,600 people. We've seen 2,000, so we're going to be getting there pretty quickly. So Londinium, I can jack that up. No, I can't. So I'll just leave it there because I don't want the people to be mad at me. And then Aboricum, we can lower it. And then Deva as well. Let's lower it. And it is tempting to get the mines in Deva right away. It's very tempting, but man, that's just like so much money. Even with his discount, it's 1,900 denarii with his discount, so it's good money though. It really is. But I just don't want people to walk into my towns and take my towns without... I've had that happen. I know that brigands are not that active, but like when it happens, it sucks. It's like, really? Did just like two peasants just like walk into my town? God damn it. It really sucks. With all of those moves done, I'm just going to be dropping a save just because I've had crash issues with this game. Not so much recently, but now that I've said that, watch us have a crash. And the fact that I've already gotten through one end turn in my first part of this campaign, for those of you who are new to my channel, this is like a goddamn record. I might go through 2 turns in this episode. Fucking A. I'm a wizard. Alright, so yeah, losing some money here. I got 2,600 in the treasury, so it's something. It's something. Yep, got my roads, got my walls, and got my peasants. So pretty exciting stuff, I know. And we already have brigands in this game. Yeah, best mechanic in this game by far. I'm joking. I hate it so much. But it's actually, I found a way to deal with them that's not that complicated. Part of the reason why it took me 15 months to... I'm embarrassed to say this, but part of the reasons why it took so long for me to play those other 2 campaigns is because I was fighting all of the brigand battles. That's because, okay, I know, your eyes just rolled out of your head. I played, in my practice campaign, I did test this, and I was like, surely I can just auto-resolve the brigand battles, surely. And it was like playing as the Julii or some shit, so I had some, strong bodyguard units for my generals, my characters, and I just auto-resolved a battle with my general against like 2 peasants. I was like, surely, it'll be fine. And he lost. He lost, like badly. He didn't die, but like he lost. And then I had another nearby general that was like, okay, shit, okay, let me lose him. I'll just auto-resolve him. And then he lost again. And that scarred me. I was like, oh my god, I can't auto-resolve my battles against the brigands. And I think that that's just because that the peasant units just outnumbered those. I think that the auto-resolve really does count numbers, and that gives it a lot of value, which is stupid, but there you go. And knowing that, it took me a long time just because I needed someone to really like spell it out for me. And finally, this is after like episode 60 or some shit. It took me so long before people were saying like, just ignore them. And it's like, I can't ignore them. They shut up. They cut your trade off. Like they're on my roads and they cut your trade like in half or some shit. It's significant. Like at this point in the campaign, I'm not making a lot of money anyway, so it's not that significant, but it can be. Like it can really suck. And then also they cause devastation, which decreases the amount of money that you're making from your farmlands. So they do cause issues. Also, if you do have watchtowers set up, they can sort of migrate to your watchtowers and then turn them off. It's like they occupy the watchtower so that if you're kind of depending on that watchtower to, cover your frontier and make sure that foreign armies don't march into your territories, and then a brigand army turns it off, or you're like, oh, sure, I have to go, turn it on again. I have to recapture it. So I couldn't accept that as an answer. I couldn't accept ignoring the brigands as an answer. That just seemed also, frankly, for me, I'm, role playing as, someone who's commanding an empire, and I was like, I can't. This is my people. Those are brigands. They're in my land. I'm kind of role playing this a little bit, like not too much, but a little bit. I have to clean these brigands out of my territory. And finally, someone was like, look, you got your garrisons. Typically they're going to be peasants, but you can also get low tier, you know, garrison units of like, you know, your tier 1 stuff, whatever, warband, town watch, something like that. And what you can do is you can move out and you can fight those brigands with a couple of units, you know, maybe a bit more depending on the size of your settlement. And it doesn't matter at all if they lose, because your units a lot of times in small provinces will just immediately retreat back into your settlement. You can just retrain your units right away, move back out and fight them again, and just keep doing that until eventually the, you know, brigands lose. Your people gain veterancy, and eventually you will be getting, you know, the blacksmiths and stuff like that. Eventually you'll have some pretty jacked peasants in town watch or, you know, warband or whatever that can handle these brigand units. Now there are larger brigand armies, like large ones, you know, like half stacks with generals in them. And so you will want some kind of beefier garrisons to be able to move out to, if that's a centrally located garrison that can kind of move out and help tertiary, you know, settlements kind of deal with big brigand armies. They can do that. Mounted units, like in my case, chariots. But it took me a long time to figure that out. So I was fighting all these battles, and finally, you know, this person, thank the gods, this person really spelt it out to me, because they're like, nope, auto-resolve the battles, this is how you do it. And this is how you balance this with also, you know, your settlement garrison to keep your population loyalty high. It's like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And bribing also, to me, wasn't the answer, because it's like, I don't know, it's too expensive for, you know, these units that have to have a diplomat nearby. Like, no. So with that being said, this guy's going to be here for a while. I'm not going to get around to dealing with him right away, because I have more important stuff to do. And that is going to be an evolution, dare I say, because the last campaigns I did not prioritize that. So let's go talk to the Gauls down here, and let's offer them map information, and let's try to get some money out of them as well. We're going to say, give us 1,000 denarii. And they're going to ask for trade rights, and they're going to offer us some money as well. 410 denarii. I think I can get a bit more than that, actually. What if I ask for 750 denarii and take away the trade rights? Now, they're still going to want the trade rights, so 550. Okay, we're making progress here. Can I get an extra 100 out of them? Okay, so they'll offer 600 denarii. They want the trade rights, and I know that if I wasn't demanding map information, I could get more money out of them. But I like being able to see where people's settlements are. It helps me plan things. I know that for, you know, Super Chad pros at this game, you just have the map memorized. I get it. I have the Shogun map memorized. I have parts of the medieval map memorized. I get it. Like, you don't need to know where everything is if you're at that level. I'm not at that level. I'm still discovering things. So I want to be able to see where things are. So if I can get 600 denarii, trade rights, which is going to, you know, increase my trade income by a little bit. Again, we're not making a lot of trade right now, but that's fine. And yeah, we're just going to be giving map information in return, and that's it. So yes, my acceptance shows strength of character as well as wisdom. Don't you forget that. Don't you forget that. Okay, so what do we have here? Alicia is going to be a large town, and Brennis, the faction leader, is going to be hanging out here, so he's pretty chadly. 5-star general, 2 warband, and then the barbarian cav. And then who is this? Mystery, 2 mystery units. Dun dun dun. All right, well, let's get this spy on a boat. Let's get this spy on land, and let's get this spy over here. Do we have any vision on these guys yet, or no? Nope, just 2 mystery units. So I'm going to be trying to get my spy down here to Alicia, and then I might just... I feel like usually the Germans come to go talk to me.
Yes, master.
So I was going to head in the other direction, but...
Yes, master. Out of move.
I was going to see if I can maybe see the Germans. Nope, that didn't work out. That's okay. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and... see, so you can't get that far. So let's get you... I don't think I want to cross the border yet, because I don't want to...
move out. Forward.
bring any suspicion on to me. if I can try to maybe move from here and then maybe into the woods to hide so they don't see me. And then just so that this other army kind of moves off, I might be able to take this without much of a fight. That's kind of my idea. And then, oh shit, did I? Oh no.
Lord, orders. Yes.
No, that peasant needs to get back to some more Briva. Yes, that was a mistake.
Move out.
At least the public order is fine, but yeah, those brigands better not march into some more Briva. That would suck.
Chief.
Now we can begin to move this peasant from Londinium up here to Deva. And we can train up another peasant here for Londinium itself, finally. And then this boat can start to move out here so that we can eventually pick up these guys. So I think at this point, let's see here. So you're not actually, let's see here. Oh, you can get there in 2 turns. And you're going to get there in a couple turns. That's fine. You can actually just move out.
General. Forward.
And actually, no, because I want you,
Lord.
I want your trait, your lively trait to kick in here. So let's build some roads here for another tiny little discount. And then here as well in Abericum, get a couple roads going. And we'll keep the garrison there as well. What I can do now in Londinium is I can build a port, and that's going to take 2 turns. It costs 800 denarii, which is a steal, which that's going to be giving me an extra 300 denarii per turn, so that's awesome. And of course that allows me to build boats as well if I need to build more boats. I know there's going to be pirate boats. Ooh, there's a Gallic boat right there. Ooh, that's scary. Hopefully they don't touch me. Go away, boats. And I know there's pirate boats in the water, but hopefully, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, the pirates are scary. They have really tough boats in the early game, for sure. So that makes me a little bit nervous. I think that I also want to get the land clearance here into Briva. It's going to be giving me a bit more money as well as increasing my population growth. So it's going to be giving me an extra 0.5 in population growth. And then from money, it's going to giving me an extra like 70 or so, which is, yeah, not bad, not bad. And again, we want to increase our population growth by as much as possible at this point of the campaign. I am ready to end this turn, and man, those peasants better, or those brigands better not capture my unguarded town. I could recruit something, but like I want to stick to, I don't want to take people from here. I really don't. Oh god, it would suck. That would suck so much. And I could also train these or recruit these barbarian mercenaries. They are really expensive, but I like getting them. They don't take people from your settlements, so I think it's worth the cost just for that reason alone. So yeah, taxes are low. You're still on normal. Yeah, low, and then you just have the peasant there. That's fine. Okay, let's end this turn, drop a save, and let's just pray that those brigands, yeah, let's just hop in there as fast as possible. And ooh, they disappeared. That's scary. I love it when armies just disappear right in front of you. And yeah, okay, no German diplomat to greet me on the border. Interesting. Okay. Okay, that's fine. And what do we have here? Agent detected. So Germania, there's a traitorous agent loyal to enemies among the people here, and he has been executed. Okay, cool. So we caught the German spy and some more Briva. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that's a loss for them. So we only have 165 money left. Ooh, that sucks. That means we can't train. We can't hire those mercenaries.
Yes.
Shoot. Or, oh,
Can I be of service?
if I could get money from the Germans. Yeah, I feel like usually they talk to me by now, but I guess everything's different.
Orders.
Everything's different in this playthrough.
Combining troops.
Alright, so yes, we're going to be bringing the peasant with us here.
Orders.
And y'all are going to be, let's see, you're not going to get there
Aye, Captain.
for another turn.
Set sail.
So you go hang out there, and then you, then we get one more discount. No, we can't build anything. Okay, so I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's fine.
Orders.
Go hang out with the boys. You hang out in Deva. And yeah, no money to spend, which feels bad, but we'll be making money
Moving.
soon. So that army is still hanging out there, eh? Interesting. Maybe they don't like that we're just right on their border, which makes sense. Oh, there's the diplomat. Okay, so maybe I can get some money from him, and maybe I can use that money to bribe some dudes. Not bribe, but hire. Yeah, totally different meanings.
Can I be of service?
Possibly you can be of service. So let's do map information for map information, and it's going to be the same deal. And I'm just going to come up short here, which is unfortunate. That's too bad. I'm still going to get 560 denarii from them, but yeah, that's not going to be quite enough to hire those mercenaries, which is a shame. Yeah, that's too bad. I wonder, is there anyone else I could talk to? No, there's no one else nearby. Okay. Well, let's see. So you have a 93% chance of getting inside, and I think I want to take that chance. So who are you? So you are a 2-star, and you have a... so I have to do that. You have a druid, a warband, and a barbarian mercenary. Okay, so let's take that chance of getting inside. And he has a 24% chance of opening the gates for us, which feels good. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to hang out in the forest right here. Just want to make sure I get that right.
Move out! Out of moves!
And it doesn't say that he's hiding. Usually it says ambush in place. And he didn't say ambush in place, so that makes me worry that he's actually not hiding right now.
Move out!
So I think I just got that wrong, which sucks. Huh, okay. Well, they might come out and fight us then, which, you know, whatever. I guess that works too. Now, what do we have? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units. And they have 4 plus... Oh, God. It's really... It's fine. So they have 8 units, so... And 4 of my units are chariots, which is pretty damn good. Now, since I don't have enough money to bribe those or hire those mercenaries, and since in this territory there's no mercenaries available, there's no reason to hang on to this money. I may as well spend it. So let's come up here to Deva, and I'm thinking about getting a shrine at this point. So Britannia is the one that's going to be giving the health bonus, and I like to get that for my small towns because that is going to be increasing their population growth as well as their public order. So it's going to be giving me 10% total from public order, 5% from health, and 5% from the building itself. And then, yeah, then health is going to be having a double effect of having a population growth as well. So I like to get the Britannia for my small towns. And then, in addition to that, Britannia also gives certain retinue and certain traits that increase the amount of children that your characters have, and that they can also increase casualty replenishment for their armies as well. So getting a lot of children in the early game is obviously important because that increases the pool of generals and characters you can get. And in addition to that, you know, having that temple itself that does boost the settlement is nice. And I think that there's something else. Casualty replenishment, children, and then hit points. Yes, you can get a retinue that can increase the hit points for generals. Now there's a double side to that. Remember when I said that thing about having double sides and negatives to these things? Yeah, you also can have feeling poorly, which is -1 attack -1 command when attacking, and then like minus hit points as well, which sucks so much. So it is a roll of the dice, but yeah, it's you know, that's why this game is fun. I am now ready to end this turn, so let's go ahead and see if those gulls want to come tangle. Ooh, okay, so okay. There's only the faction leader inside of the settlement. They did not come out, so they did. My guy's not in the ambush stance though. That's so confusing. It's tempting to hang out for a turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I don't know. I also don't want to hang out for a turn. You know? Just because. I want to get a move on here. The Britannia and the Greeks are at war. All right, good for them. Yeah, I kind of want to, you know,
Set sail! Yes, boarding.
get to the action,
All ashore. Yes, move out. Kill them.
so we can besiege this settlement.
Settlement under siege.
Maintain the siege. These brigands that are outside are going to come out and attack me, and we're going to be fighting both of those dudes. And then down here,
Yes.
I suppose I can... Yeah, I want Elysia sieged out at least in this turn, and then... Yeah, it's tricky because I want... So the goal here...
Orders.
The goal here for me is that since this is going to be this is a large town, and I want to enslave the people of this large town. And again, for those of you who are new, what you can do with settlements is that you can either occupy it, which is the normal default thing to do with new settlements. You can enslave it, which takes a certain percentage of the population from that settlement, and it brings it to the other settlements that you have that are governed with a general. So you can use that to increase the population of those other settlements. You also get a trade resource of slavery with the nearby settlements, so somewhere Breville will have a little pop growth as well. So enslaving is the way to go, but the thing is that if I do that right now, well, I don't have any other characters in other settlements. I have 2 up here,
General.
so I could have Terra by the time that I enslave Elysia, but if I could, I would also like to get one of these generals back on this boat and get him back over to Deva, just so that we can split the love between Deva and Terra. That's going to be the goal. So, with that in mind, I actually don't mind.
March.
Can I get
Ready
him?
to ambush. Move out. Ready to ambush.
Okay, so now he is in ambush state. So now they might move off, and I could be in a position where I could just attack the settlement
Your Honor.
with only the faction leader inside.
Yes, Master.
And that gives me time to take Terra and then get a guy back over to Deva. Yeah, I think that works out. I just don't really have any money to play with in this turn, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Now I am getting to the end of my recording time, but I'm just very curious to see how this is going to turn out. So let's go ahead and drop another save. And then let's end this turn. And then, yeah, so they did move off. And yes, we are going to be getting a sally out here. And yeah, I'm not too worried about this. Druids and 2 warband in the initial army. And then I think it's just one more or maybe 2 more warband in the other army as well. So let's go ahead and fight this one.
The day has dawned. How terrible it must be to face us, the sons of the wolf and the bear. Even now, fear works in the bowels of our foes. Now set your minds on the task to come, and when the moment comes, gut your target like a fish.
And I do like a good general speech. Yeah, those are always fun to watch, and it is nice to get a different flavor as well. Playing the Barbarians for the first time, I get to hear some different speeches. So here we are. I think that, for the most part, these units are pretty self-explanatory. Warband have the Warcry ability, which I did make a video about. Warcry doesn't give an attack boost, but it does give a attack rate boost. So it has to charge up for 4 seconds, and they cannot be moving. As soon as you move, it interrupts that charge up. And it has to be for at least 4 seconds. Any less than that, and there will be no bonus applied at all. And then it can go max up to 10-second charge. So the entire ability, I think, lasts 30 seconds, I think? So if you do the full charge up of 10 seconds, then you get 20 seconds of the actual ability to be used. So I don't typically do that. I typically charge it for like, 4, 5, 6 seconds. Charge in and get as much time of that bonus present as possible. That's how I like to use it, but it is a little bit tricky, a little bit, timing based. Slingers, pretty weak attack, but this is the fastest infantry unit that is in the game, is going to be the Slinger unit. They also have the most amount of ammo for any ranged unit, which is pretty cool. And honestly, despite their low damage output, I feel like they do better than their damage stat indicates, because I don't know, I feel like the flat trajectory, if it doesn't hit a unit, then it hits the unit behind it. So it kind of, I don't know, I kind of like them. And then the druids, which are really cool. I love the druids. They're so cool looking. Yeah, they're pretty badass. And so for those of you who you don't know, they have this chant ability. So they chant, and then they will increase the morale of friendly enemy units in a certain friendly enemy units. Yes, no, friendly units in a certain radius, and they will decrease the morale of enemy units in a certain radius, which is pretty sweet. Now they have decent combat stats, but you don't want them to be fighting just because of their low unit count. Now, I'm not sure though, can you just have them on chant the entire time, even if they are walking around and fighting? Because it seems like they continue to chant as long as they have them on chant. So I'm a little curious about that. For those of you who know more about the ability, please let me know. And then of course my generals on their chariots, they look pretty awesome. Now they don't have archers with the generals units, right? No, they just have a little, like a sword. They all have swords? Yeah, they all have sword. Okay, swords are cool. Swords are cool. All right, so it's going to be snowing, and snow is fine.
They are scared. They have brought even
all right,
more
so
men.
Let's come up here and let's go. Let's do one of these.
Later.
And oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Man, this is like kind of a big deal. So for those of you who are familiar, so I did start a barbarian invasion campaign recently where I am playing as the Goths. And there's a pretty recent development in the Rome Total War community, which is that there's a patch that came out, a fan-made patch, that did make a lot of improvements in the game. A lot of improvements. And I kind of broke a character for my channel by actually deciding to just, showcase or cover that patch, however you want to say it. And the main reason is because I have been having some major issues with commanding armies in this game. Typically when it comes to unit responsiveness, I thought I was going crazy, but I found out that there is an input delay in this game. So when you select a unit and then give it a command right away, like a move command or a charge command, if you give that command within that like 150 or 250 milliseconds, then the command is never, recognized, which is infuriating. And it's something that I had never heard any other YouTuber complain or talk about it, so I just thought I was going crazy. I was like, clearly this is user error. Clearly this is me. This is a me thing and not anyone else's problem. And until finally another fellow YouTuber and is someone who's really helped me out in a lot of ways with this game, him and a friend are working on a patch, and they're still working on it. And that patches a lot of things. It gives you, for one thing, the frame rate's amazing, the camera's super awesome, and it gives you the ability to toggle on a one-click charge, which is fantastic. It's a fantastic patch, but it does kind of break I should put these guys on chant so I don't forget. And it does for me to use that patch, it does kind of break the concept of my channel, which is to explore the evolution of the Total War franchise, so that I can appreciate the advancements of each game and not play a new game and be like, oh man, this camera sucks compared to that patch that I'm playing. So it does kind of mess that up a little bit, but I was so excited about it that I wanted to showcase it. My slingers are going to be able to start chucking their stones in against these guys, and I should probably get my warband to start doing their war cry. But so yeah, it's at 1, 2, yeah, 4 seconds, something like that. So let's go here and run, go here, and then run, then go here. And I'm trying to give them commands a lot slower than I normally would, just because I don't want my freaking commands to get dropped, man. So let's come over here and let's just send you into there, and then you into there. And let's break these guys as fast as possible. And then you guys are, oh shit, your warband. Oh, what are you guys doing? Oh, I messed that up. I sent my slingers.
Army runs. Now hunt them.
What's going on here? Yeah, I messed that up. Whatever. It's fine. And yeah, so we're gonna be running down these guys. If we can get all of them, that'd be fantastic. Peasants, help out. Because, yeah, we have another dude over here that we have to get rid of. So, yeah, you get him, and then you guys go here, and then you guys go here, and then... Shit, man, these guys are going to get away, aren't they? That sucks. Yeah, I didn't do a good job chasing stuff down. Yeah, that sucks. These guys are going to get away. Unless my chariots can get them in the last moment here. These guys, yeah, they don't give a shit what I tell them to do. They're like, nah, we're the boss. Did we get these guys? Holy shit, we might get those guys. Oh my god. Oh man, that'd be really nice. Alright, so you guys come over here and start going after these guys, and no shit, we stopped him, didn't we? Oh my god, we stopped him. Are there any left? There's like one left. Oh, we got them. Hell yeah. And he's gonna run them down, no problem. Alright, so let's get this guy, come over here. And then... Yeah, because if we kill all these guys, then we just get the settlement. So... that'd be nice. Yeah, it looks like he's coming back. Perfect. Alright, cool. Let's come over here, and we're gonna get all these guys. How many are left?
Warlord lies
Is that the last one?
Now he can drink with
Hell
his ancestors and watch
yes.
his warriors flee.
Awesome. Now we just have to get all of these guys. And this isn't the garrison. So, where'd you go? Oh shit. Oh, they're just charging it. Oh, shit. That's fine. It's fine. As long as we get it. Yep, let's get all these guys. There we go.
Now hunt them down.
There we go. And then slingers, because you're super fast, I want you guys... Slingers are a great route chasing unit. I love using them for route chasing. It's one thing that I like in this game better than in Shogun and Medieval. Just because, yes, there are faster units in those games, but the fast infantry units aren't like that great for running down heavy infantry units. But in this game, there's a big difference. Light infantry, especially slingers, is very, very good at running down heavy infantry. So I just really like that utility in this game. And yeah, looks like we got them all. So that should be good. Yeah, that should be... We should take Terra. Just like that. So we lost, what, 42 men? Okie dokie. And I'm just going to be occupying it. Yes, yes. There we go. And so now... Okay, so he's still... Huh. So where did the main army go? Because that's the other general. Oh, so some of them went back to Elysia. Interesting. But I feel like there's still more units, right? So they went somewhere else.
Yes. Yes, my lord.
I wonder where they went. So we have 444 in the treasury. Not a lot of money. And then Kunorda, new family member. Women of age, Senianas. Yes, and you're up here. Perfect. Healing poorly. Yeah, that sucks. -1 command when attacking, -2 from Jones hit points. I literally was just talking about that. That sucks. And then poor farmer, -1 from farming up. You suck, dude. Oh, God. Ugh. You are just an embarrassment. And then Prasutagus, confident commander, +1 command. And then famous warrior, +1 command. And then +1 morale for all troops on the battlefield and 10% discount on unit training costs. That's a great one. Damn. Great. And that is going to be for you? Yes. So yeah, you're a 5-star general now. Shit. Alright, famous warrior. That's a good one. Yeah, +1 morale. An additional +1 morale for the armor as well. Yeah, you are good. And that, yeah, that cancels this one out, the sanguinary. So this man's obvious relish for bloodshed is beginning to worry his associates and underlings. -1 morale, so they're a little worried about him. Funny. Yeah, not bad. So I'm going to get... Let's see, who do I want? So I want the useless guy to hang out with his... Is it his dad? It can't be his dad. Because Prastatagus is too young. So it must be Sinfar, right? You are Sinfar's son. Okay. Yeah, you hang out with Dad.
Yes. Orders?
No, you hang out with the other... You hang out with Prastatagus. Dad's gonna go on the boat, and the boat's gonna go here, and then you're gonna go back to Deva.
The boats. Ambush in place.
And
Forward. Out of moves.
we will
Orders?
Take Elysia after he's in Deva.
Boats ready.
And then you guys, so you have your peasants. Let's just retrain. Don't want to take people from Deva. But we're going to be getting an influx of people pretty soon. So let's just do it. It's not a lot of people, you know. And then roads. Does that want to spend my money on? Or do I want to get a temple for Aburkum? I'm tempted to get the temple for that health bonus here. Just to increase that population growth. That's what I'm tempted to do. Yeah. And then...
General!
do I want to lay siege in this turn? Lay siege in this turn, and then you can move into Deva next turn, and then that's when we attack. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to have to do, but that's all going to have to wait until next time. Before I go, I just wanted to say that if you're enjoying these videos and you would like to support the channel, then consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. It all helps immensely. So until next time, this has been Concept playing Rome Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.